Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guests today are from the National Czech and Slovak Museum and Library. Say hi to Lori Lane and Jim Miller. Welcome.
Thank you.
Good morning. Welcome.
Nice to have you here. It's just even
In
though
person.
we've been in person in studio for a few weeks now, but it's still, when it's somebody's first time back, it's like the first time all over again. So glad to have you both here. The museum, of course, has been open pretty much throughout the pandemic. We've talked previously during these interviews about how, museums are, kind of perfect for social distancing. But you are starting to ramp up event season, and you've got a huge weekend coming up.
We do have a huge weekend, yes. We've been open, we were closed about 3 months last year, reopened, and then closed for the derecho. But we've been open full-time since end of August of last year, so over a year. And attendance is coming back, and we think that's great. But yes, we have a huge weekend. Some listeners probably know and love Brunost, and some probably have never heard of it. But this will be technically our 18th year. Last year was a modified mobile version, but 18 years. And Brunost is an international beer and food festival that we hold in our front yard, basically. And this year we, for obvious reasons, have moved as much of it as we can outside, and we've spread it. We are spreading it out as much as we can. So again, we have typically between 600 and 800 guests for a Brunost. But yes, the event itself is food and beverage, international, and we work very closely with Doug at John's Grocery in Iowa City. And certainly, if anyone knows beer, Doug knows beer.
It's Doug the beer guy.
Especially Doug the beer guy, yes. So what Doug does, among many things that he does for us, is pair up a specific beer with one of our food vendors. So you can go to Aroma Artisan Pizza and get a special pizza that he's paired a beer with, and all of our food vendors. But that's the nuts and bolts of the event. We also have live music, a live and silent auction that we can talk more about. But again, it is a fundraiser. Certainly, it is our biggest fundraiser of the year for the museum. That all of the proceeds from the event get poured back into our education, programming, and outreach.
And this will be Friday,
September 17th, that evening. We have different ticket levels that are available, but yes, the event itself is Friday, September 17th.
Okay, and the different ticket levels get you...
Different ticket levels, they range from $50 to $125. Our top level is our VIP ticket at $125. The event itself is from 6:30 to 9:30. The VIP buyers have an extra hour, so it starts at 5:30 for them. And they also get a swag bag full of treasures. We also, anyone that's been there knows that every year we do a different stein or a different glass. So again, we have a different one for that. But people love the event.
General admission is $75, and we have a designated driver ticket for $50.
For the look don't sip beer
Yes,
ticket.
but
I like that look, don't sip. Yes.
We do have non-alcoholic beverages as a part of it, so they'll have plenty
what's
to drink.
kind of the average? I know you work with Doug Alberhaski to pair the beers with food, but on average, how many countries and varieties are represented?
We have, I believe this year we have 12 or 13 food vendors. So certainly we have an emphasis on Czech and Slovak beer, but I would say close to that number, 12. But again, Doug does a great job. And again, he will tell you there's probably a beer or a beverage you're going to taste and say, that's really gross. Or you might taste one and say, oh, I've never had that and I really like it. And that's part of it.
I'm looking forward to seeing what he pairs with Luna Gelato.
Yes.
That will be interesting.
Yes. Yeah, beer and ice cream.
Beer and ice cream, that's right.
Is kind of a testy combination.
Yep.
Yeah, the beer float is usually not something
That's
that
true, a
sells
beer
well
float.
anywhere. Yeah. So that's just the beginning because, Lori, this is also a big weekend for the museum.
It is.
Because Brunost just kind of kicks off the postponed anniversary of the dedication of the museum.
Yes, for those who aren't aware, in 1995, 3 sitting presidents came to Cedar Rapids for the dedication of our museum when it was still located right on the west bank of the river. It was President Clinton from the U.S., President Havel from the Czech Republic, and President Kovac from the Slovak Republic. And so last year would have been the official 25th we decided we're celebrating it this year because we can actually do that.
The 25th plus one.
Yes,
25th
the
plus one.
25th plus one. So starting Saturday morning at 10 a.m., we will be having a parade of kroje. Kroje is the traditional dress of the Czech Slovak region, and that will be hosted by Helene Cincebeaux. And Helene is a huge collector of kroje, and it has just opened an exhibit called
Crowning glory.
Crowning Glory.
It's all
Thank you
good.
so much.
Yes.
I kept thinking a feast of
Yes.
Czech and Slovak or Slovak and Moravian headdresses. Anyway, these are all pieces from Helene's personal collection, which is the largest in the world. And so she's going to be, that is open now, but she will be on site. She lives in Florida for that. So at 10 a.m. on Saturday morning, she will be doing a parade of kroje and talking about the exhibit. At 1 on Saturday, we will have Lucia. I'm sorry, I need to put my glasses on so I do not mess up anybody's name. Lucia Gavilova, excuse me. She's curator of the collection of modern and contemporary art at the Slovak National Gallery. At 2 o'clock, we have a virtual lecture because we're having trouble getting people here from Europe right now, with Zuzana Polovic, who's the founder, and Gabriela Baragajova, who's the co-director of Global Slovakia. And these two women, in partnership with David Keyes, have written a book called Super Slovaks, and they're going to be talking about that. These two lectures will happen in the library at the museum, and they're free and open to the public. And then on Saturday evening at 5:30, we're having a ribbon cutting for our Treasures of Slovakia exhibit, which is a collection of socio-historical artifacts dating back, some of them 500 years, most of which have never been seen in person outside of the Slovak Republic. So that's very exciting. And then after the ribbon cutting, we'll have a cocktail hour concert by Tomas Kachko. And this is for ticketed guests for our 25th anniversary dinner. The dinner will happen that night. The end of the evening, we will have a world premiere of a composition by pianist Jacob Baranek. And it'll just be a really fun and full evening celebrating. Senator Charles Grassley, who is responsible for the legislation that designated us as a National Heritage Museum, will be speaking at the dinner. So that's the huge Saturday night event, which is ticketed. And I believe there are some tickets available still, aren't
There are. Tickets are available for all of it, for Bruno's, for the dinner. But yes, tickets are available for all of it at this point.
Yeah. And then on Sunday at 1 o'clock, the curator of the Treasures of Slovakia exhibit, who is also the general director of the Slovak National Museum, is going to be doing a lecture in the library, which is free and open to the public. So it's a busy, busy weekend.
That is.
It's full. It's full. Yes.
That is a big weekend. Well, I well remember the weekend 26 years ago when the three presidents came to dedicate the museum, and that was one of the biggest days in Cedar Rapids history that I can remember for a long time. So it's great to have that. Great to be able to celebrate that now, a quarter century gone, especially everything the museum and the city has been through.
Absolutely.
So we talked a little bit about the new exhibit, the Treasures of Slovakia, but you always have more than one going on. Is there another one that we want to talk about?
We do. As Lori touched on it, yes, kind of in conjunction with the Treasures exhibit from, again, as she said, has never been in the United States. Helene's exhibit, as she said, Crowning Glory, it really is magnificent. It is open now. We'll ribbon cut it and do all of that. But yes, it is just breathtaking to see this. When you look at headdresses, anyone that truly is a costume person or fabric or anything, the colors are incredible when you look at these headdresses and think the hours and hours of someone to make the fabric, probably to dye the fabric, to sew on hundreds or thousands of beads. It's really the art of it is just incredible to look at. So yes, we have those exhibits. We always have our main exhibit for folks that have never been there, called Faces of Freedom. It is our permanent exhibit, but things change in that nonetheless. Lori touched on the kroje part of it, the traditional dress. That's a huge part of the exhibit. and just again the history of Czech and Slovak republics, or when it was Czechoslovakia before the break, before the Velvet Divorce, as they call it. So yes, fascinating exhibit, and we really focus heavily on, we're telling the story of family history, of immigration, of democracy. So again, it's a fascinating exhibit to look exhibits.
I mean, yeah, that's my favorite thing about Faces of Freedom is even, no matter where your family immigrated from, a lot of it is the story of what people went through to leave their countries that they loved very much and come to a new place for a better opportunity of life. It's universal.
Mm-hmm.
It really is applicable to
It
just
applies
about-
no matter where.
Yes.
No matter where your family originated. It's the National Czech and Slovak Museum. A huge weekend coming up beginning the 17th of September with Brunost, and then continuing on the 18th and the 19th with the 25th plus one celebration, some ticketed events, some free events as well, if you'd like to take advantage of those. And of course, if you want to find out more information about these or the exhibits or anything going on at the museum, you can visit the website, which is
ncsml.org, and it's all there.
Jim Miller and Lori Lane from the National Czech and Slovak Museum and Library. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you,
Thank
Dennis.
You can hear The Culture Crawl live on the radio many weekdays at 10:20, or download the podcast, watch or listen on your own schedule at kcck.org/culture, or however you get your podcasts. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.